1. Smart tips to save on groceries and utilities. A money-saving guide. 2. How inflation is impacting local grocery stores in Ohio. 3. Facing the hard truth about grocery prices. A deep dive. 1. Smart tips to save on groceries and utilities. A money-saving guide. Saving money on everyday essentials like groceries and utilities is a challenge many of us face, especially when these expenses tend to take up a significant chunk of our monthly budget. But here's where it gets interesting. There are practical strategies that can help you cut costs without sacrificing too much of your comfort or convenience. And this is the part most people overlook or underestimate. Let's start with groceries. One effective way to save is by investing in a membership to wholesale clubs such as Sam's Club. While there's an initial fee involved, the savings you accumulate over time, like filling up your 17-gallon tank multiple times a year, can easily offset that cost. However, a word of caution, you'll still need to visit regular grocery stores for your weekly shopping. When you're at Sam's, focus on stocking up on non-perishable items like beans, pasta, coffee, canned soups, or frozen foods that last a long time. To avoid unnecessary spending, I recommend limiting your trips to the club to once a month, which also helps you steer clear of impulse buys, like those tempting TVs right at the entrance. Another convenient alternative is subscribing to grocery deliveries through platforms like Amazon. Many items come with around a 10% discount when you subscribe, but remember to cancel subscriptions once you no longer need a particular product. Being more mindful about your grocery shopping can also encourage meal planning and prepping, which naturally reduces the temptation to eat out, something that can significantly drain your budget. Yes, this advice might sound cliché, but it's proven to work for many. When it comes to utilities, covering electricity, internet, water, and cell phone bills, there's less room for drastic cuts unless you're willing to compromise on comfort. For example, you might want to limit your hot showers or turn off unused lights. But the real savings often come from smarter choices in your phone and internet plans. For your cell phone, consider joining a family or shared plan. While you might have to give up some of the latest features or newest phones, the savings can be substantial. Additionally, explore whether your current plan offers perks like discounts on streaming services, restaurant coupons, or hotel deals. If not, it's worth shopping around for plans that include these benefits. Sometimes, competitors offer better value. Regarding internet service, I personally aim to keep my monthly bill below $40. Usually, a speed of 25 megabits per second is enough for most households, so don't pay extra for faster connections unless you have specific needs. If you're paying for cable TV through your internet provider, see if you can save money by dropping the cable package altogether. Streaming services are often a more affordable alternative, and most of us don't need multiple subscriptions to consume all the content we want. Consider limiting yourself to just one streaming platform at a time, alternating every few months, and opt for ad-supported plans, which are cheaper or sometimes free. Another budget-friendly option is accessing content through your local PBS station, which offers streaming for around $5 a month without commercial interruptions. Additionally, your local public library can be a treasure trove of free entertainment, offering DVDs or digital access via apps like Canopy. These options can significantly cut down your entertainment expenses. Remember, these suggestions are meant to serve as a starting point. Not every tip will fit everyone's lifestyle, so it's important to tailor your approach based on your personal needs and habits. Ultimately, saving money is most effective when you have a clear goal or purpose in mind, whether it's building an emergency fund, saving for a big purchase, or reducing financial stress. Knowing what you're working toward makes the process much more motivating and manageable. What do you think? Are there strategies here you've tried or new ideas you're willing to explore? Or do you believe some of these tips might compromise your quality of life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and join the conversation. 2. How inflation is impacting local grocery stores in Ohio. As inflation continues to climb, small grocery stores in the valley, particularly a Marc's in Boardman, are grappling with the challenge of maintaining their competitive edge amidst increasing economic pressures. This situation is particularly alarming, as many of these stores are already struggling to keep their heads above water. Recent statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics reveal a troubling trend. The prices of essential goods are on the rise once more, while wages, which saw a boost during the pandemic, are reverting to levels seen before COVID-19. For independent grocery stores, this means they face escalating costs to stock their shelves, all while their customers have less disposable income to spend. Chryl Nelson, the assistant manager at the Marc's grocery store in Boardman, expressed the difficulties they are encountering. It makes it a little difficult in regards to our sales, because nobody wants to keep on paying more for everything, she explained. Everybody keeps complaining. And it's terrible because there's a whole chain before it even gets to the shelf. To combat these challenges, Nelson and her team are collaborating closely with suppliers to manage inventory and hold sales. However, as prices continue to rise, these smaller stores often find it hard to match the variety and lower prices offered by larger, well-known competitors. We just have to do our best to work with our suppliers, keep our store stocked, and keep up with trends and seasonal items, Nelson noted. That way people can get what they need and still try to save a little bit of money. Kristen Mullins, the president and CEO of the Ohio Grocers Association, highlighted that the impact of rising costs is being felt statewide, particularly among independent grocers. That really puts that smaller, independent at risk, Mullins stated. They just can't absorb that cost. She elaborated that larger grocery chains have the ability to delay price increases and endure short-term financial losses. In contrast, smaller grocers operate on extremely tight profit margins, often around just 1%, and depend heavily on foot traffic to survive. When fewer people walk through the door, it really hurts, Mullins added. And if they can't offer competitive pricing, they lose out. In Boardman, Nelson echoed these sentiments, particularly as big-box retailers continue to lure customers away. Places like Walmart and Meijer are all flashy and have things we don't have, she remarked. But we are a local store, and the more you put into your local stores, the more that gets put back into your local towns and your state. Both Nelson and Mullins are hopeful that shoppers will recognize that choosing to shop locally not only supports individual businesses, but also fortifies the fabric of their communities. But here's where it gets controversial. Are we truly aware of the long-term implications of favoring big-box stores over our local grocers? What do you think? Do you agree with the notion that supporting local businesses is crucial for community strength, or do you believe that convenience and price should take precedence? Share your thoughts in the comments. 3. Facing the hard truth about grocery prices, a deep dive. Grocery bills are exploding, and our wallets are feeling every single dent. When I handed my farmer $10 for a quart of strawberries last summer, he apologized before I even mentioned the price. "I'm sorry they are so expensive," he said, explaining that a labor shortage made harvesting this summer unbelievably tough. I was stunned by the sticker shock. But when those ruby red berries tasted like nothing I'd ever experienced, I knew the extra dollars were worth it. Supporting a local grower while enjoying peak flavor produce felt like a win, even if my budget took a hit. However, not everyone can make that choice, and this is the part most people miss. Food inflation isn't just about strawberries. It's rippling through every aisle. According to Pew Research Center, 6 out of 10 American adults now rate food costs as extremely or very important when selecting groceries. It's not just eggs or meat, we are talking produce, dairy, packaged snacks and beverages too. 7 in 10 Americans admit that pricier groceries make healthy eating tougher on the wallet. Think about it, would you rather buy that $10 pint of berries or a $6 box of crackers loaded with preservatives and virtually zero nutrition when you're stretched thin? Let's look at the numbers. Since January 2020, grocery prices for home consumption have jumped more than 28%. Meat, poultry, fish and eggs have surged over 36%. Non-alcoholic drinks like juices, sodas and coffee are up more than 32%. Dairy products have climbed nearly 22%. Fruits and vegetables have risen 16%. And cereals and baking goods are up around 29%. And here's where it gets controversial. The USDA predicts food prices will climb another 2.9% over the next 18 months, outpacing overall inflation yet again. Eggs, notorious for their volatility, spiked over 5% between April and May this year, and could skyrocket an eye-watering 65% in 2025. Yes, you read that right, 65%. There's no single culprit behind these hikes. Extreme weather events, labor shortages, energy costs, international conflicts, supply chain disruptions and tariffs all combine to push prices higher. Meanwhile, potential cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program threaten to increase food insecurity. In 2023, more than 34% of single-mother households experienced food shortages at some point. What can consumers do? Practical steps include meal planning, strict shopping lists, embracing leftovers, buying in bulk, hunting for sales, and choosing local, seasonal produce whenever possible. For instance, cooking a large pot of beans or grains ahead of time can provide multiple meals on a tight budget. Farmers markets sometimes offer end-of-day discounts, and joining a community-supported agriculture program can secure a box of in-season fruits and vegetables at a set price. Bottom line, there is little relief on the horizon. 2/3 of Americans are already deeply worried about grocery costs, and that concern is likely to rise. So here's my question. Should elected officials and policymakers intervene to tame these runaway prices? Or is this simply the new reality of a globalized food market? What